This video goes over the week 18 homework. What percent does the shaded grid represent? So we know this shaded grid is a total of 100 squares. And so I'm looking to see how many are colored in, and I can see this is a 5 by 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. So 25 out of 100 means 25%. What percent does the shaded grid represent? Okay, again, the whole means 100 out of 100 are shaded. Plus we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of 100 more over here. So we have a total of 115 1/100ths. So those little squares are called hundredths. And so this means it is 115%. This first grid is 100% colored in. This second grid is 15% colored in. When we put those together, 115%. Last week at Best Bargain, 75% of the computers sold were laptops. If 200 computers were sold last week, how many were laptops? So we're trying to figure out what is 75% of 200. We can use the decimal version of 75%, 75 hundredths, and then multiply by 200 to figure out how many were laptops. So 75 hundredths times 200 equals 150. 150 were laptops. Ivan saves 20% of his monthly paycheck for music equipment. He earned $335 last month. How much money did Ivan save for music equipment? So we are trying to figure out what is 20% of $335. So again, we can change our percent into the decimal version, 20 hundredths, and then multiply by that total amount to figure out the part he is saving. So when we take 20 hundredths times $335, we find out he has saved $67. 40 children from an after-school club went on the ski trip. This is 25% of the children in the club. How many children are in the club? This time I'm trying to find the whole, and so I'm going to use a proportion to solve this one. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write 25% as that ratio or fraction form. So 25% means 25 to 100. 40 children from an after-school club went on the ski trip, and that 40 is 25%. So over here I'm going to write 40 matched up with that 25%, and I'm trying to figure out how many children total are in the club. So I'm solving for this bottom number. Well, I can see that going from 25 to 40, that's not going to be very easy. It's not a whole number. And so I'm going to simplify my first ratio to make this a little easier on my brain. So 25 to 100, if I divide by the greatest common factor, which is 25, I get 1/4. And so now if I use that to help me figure out my missing number, my second ratio, now I can see that I can use some mental math. 1 times 40 equals 40. So I'm going to do 4 times 40 to figure out how many total children are in this club. So when I do 4 times 40, I get 160. So there are 160 children in the club. Complete the proportion to find out how many points a student needs to score on the test given to get the given score. So the test is worth 25 points. There's my 25 points. The test score is that this person's going to get is 60%. So here's my 60% written as a ratio. And now I have to figure out how many points is this person going to need on this test if they wanted 60%. So in my brain, I can think 25 times something gets me to 100. So 25 times 4. I could also be thinking in reverse, 100 divided by 4 gets me to 25. And so then I can think, something times 4, or again in reverse, if I want to think 60 divided by 4, well, that number is 15. 15 times 4 equals 60. So to get a score of 60% on this test, you need to score 15 out of 20. Complete the proportion to find out how many points a student needs to score on the test to get the given score. So again, here we have test is worth 50 points. They're going to get 70% this time. Ooh, I can see a real easy mental math problem for me. I know 50 times 2 gets me to 100. So this number times 2 will get me to 70. Again, if I wanted to think in reverse, I'd be thinking divided by 2 or divided by 2. And so when I solve that, I see that it's 35. 35 times 2 gets me to 70, so they need to get 70 points.